What is it in us that seeks the truth? Is it our minds? Or is it our hearts?
The environment we live in is filled with beauty. Creatures, birds, little chipmunks, all sorts of little cute critters. Watch TV and I don't think I will really watch the animal channels because there's nothing, everything else is just drib. And you see these little, what do they call them? Sloths. They're like so gentle and so cute. I don't know. Like sort of a weird way. Well, I don't know why I'm starting here, but nature is a beautiful thing is what I'm trying to start with. It really is. And our world has been poisoned. And these very same poisoners or the culprits are the ones that are pushing for, regulating so that they can control who is being looked at as far as pollution. The regulating industry, the EPA, all in bed with all the big corporations, and the regulation goes down. Now this goes down the ladder with the FDA and all of the alphabet soup in Washington that supposedly regulate. They basically help to collectivize, help to kill competition. Tyson Chicken, for example, more complaints, no problems, no regulatory fines or anything. Smaller vendors have much fewer complaints. They're fined and put out of business in some cases. So this nepotism, or whatever you want to call it, collusion, conspiracy, have you may, we do have a regulatory industry that doesn't do its job in general. That's not to say that we don't need it. It's not to say that we have to have safe food and everything. That said, the United Nations has released a study about man-made chemicals and how they're affecting birth deformities, hormonal cancers, and psychiatric diseases. The UN has funded this study, which is always suspect, but in this case, it happens to be on par here with what's going on. It is clear that some of the chemical pollutants that can affect endocrinal hormonal system may also interfere with the development processes of humans and wildlife species. Okay, the international group of academics who worked under the umbrella of the United Nations and the World Health Organization findings, it's an update of findings from 2002 study on the potential dangers of synthetic chemicals. So I remember when they actually did that, I was asleep. I said, oh, that's good, yeah, because everybody knows a lot of poisons. I mean, we wash our clothing. These poisons are in products that we use to clean our bathrooms and do all these things. We live in a world, quote unquote, in which man-made chemicals have become a part of everyday life, said their 28-page report, State of the Science of Endocrine Disrupting Chemicals, 2012, issued as a policy guide for governments. The EDCs include phthalates, long used in making plastics soft and flexible. Products made from them include toys, children's dummies, perfumes, and pharmaceuticals, of course, as well as cosmetics like deodorants that are absorbed into the body. Another is bisphenol A. You got to watch out for the bottles you're using plastic. BPA, which is used to harden plastics and is found in food and beverage containers, including some babies' bottles and the coating of food cans. Again, just be very cautious about this. These things are all very, very bad. A few countries, including the United States, Canada, and some European Union members, have already banned the use of some of them in certain products, especially those for children, and that's true here. But the report said that many hundreds of thousands around the world only get a small fraction of has been assessed to these potential dangers to the endocrinal and hormonal systems. Now, it's not just this. It's also, they've dubbed these things as a link to the decline in fertility in both men and women, and to an increase of very rare, once rare childhood cancers. So there's a lot of there's the devil is in the details here, of course, and the UN is suspect, as you can see behind me, right? But I think that this is on par. We know this, we talk about this, but the regulators do nothing, especially the companies that'll make these products. They talked about styrofoam being very bad, 30 years ago. They still make styrofoam cups, don't they? So there is some truth to this. I mean, not the eco-fascist way. That's the thing. You see, the Hegelian way they control these things is they all claim to be, you know, like John Kerry with his climate gate speech, his climate control, climate change. It's really control. They create the problem. They offer the solution, and it's going to be, we have to do this, this, and this. Meanwhile, they have weapons that are certainly capable of doing this. HARP and other weapons are designed to do this. Look up the research of it. So things are not as they appear. So they'll all be saying we're going to have all this funding and all this money to support our enemies, is really what they do, and to sort of control certain elements. If that's what it is, if they want, you know, if it's pollution, well, you bet General Electric's going to still be able to make coal power plants, and countries that are in on the know, and companies, I should say, and countries that are in on the action will be not looked at, and any smaller companies will comply or be put out of business. I mean, this is how collectivism works. It's very simple. It's not rocket science. Although the people haven't had the ability to see past the curtain. You know, you have to see what's going on behind the curtain. It's alluded to in movies. It's alluded to in The Wizard of Oz. It's alluded to constantly. We talk about the Federal Reserve. It even makes the mainstream and gets dropped. It's just not it's such a controlled environment. Go back to environment. That it doesn't surprise me that all of these things have been happening and they've been talking about it, but finally it comes out. Nobody's going to talk about it on the news either, really, because all these products, all these companies, not to mention, they actually have an agenda to help. They want us to decline our populations. This is all part of the plan. This isn't just by accident. They know these things are dangerous. They got caught many times later on saying they didn't know they were dangerous. I mean, Monsanto, my God, it's unbelievable. So with their chemicals, and look at their history back in the 1950s, it started there. Now we have these EDCs really are only being looked at the tip of the iceberg. Disease risk from the use of them could be even more dangerous with a combination of other factors. So depending on lifestyle and such. So we really do have an issue here. Now, using studies of the effects of chemicals on humans and animals, the team added a link to EDCs could be suspected in breast and prostate cancer, diabetes, infertility, asthma, obesity, strokes, and Alzheimer's and Parkinson's disease. Well, this makes sense. There's a lot of stuff contributing to it. I think with the children with the autism, it's clearly linked to the vaccines. But there's no doubt that these other problems, again, could be arising from the use of these chemicals as well. Chemtrails don't help. Whatever it is that we're breathing, all that strontium and barium, aluminum, that's all good, healthy stuff to breathe in. Well, babies exposed to EDCs in the womb or in puberty, these studies suggested, were especially vulnerable to developing these diseases, as I just described, in later life, as well as behavioral and learning problems like dyslexia as children. In many countries, these disorders affect 5 to 10% of the babies born, while autism was now recorded at a rate of unbelievable. It's 1 out of every 85. That's just incredible. It is the truth, ladies and gentlemen. And that's what you get here on Truth Talk News. Thank you for watching. I'm Howard Neiman.